Who am I? I suppose I'm the ultimate document. By that I mean I'm not that consequent to the real concerns of the secret police or my government. And yet I generated a ton, tens and tens of thousands of pages of documents. What was the interest of the FBI in Emile de Antonio? Why did the CIA generate also thousands of documents which it refused to give me? Why were most of the FBI documents suppressed? Was my life that interesting? Not really. But from an early age, I opposed what I considered to be injustice in my country. What is injustice? How does one arrive at an idea of what injustice is? I think largely through education. My education was a spoiled education of what might be called an upper middle class boy. I went to private schools, Harvard College, University of Scranton in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Columbia University Graduate School. But all of those were, in the purest sense, academic and almost meaningless. The part of the education that really influenced my life and my work was provided by John Cage. He never meant to be an educator, but he has been. I met John when he was poor and I was doing nothing in the early 50s, something like 1953. I was living in the country with my wife, Lois Long. I was spending my time reading and chopping wood. And John was writing music that nobody was listening to. We both had a lot of time, and I had a lot of liquor. He used to come to my house every night, and we drank and drank and talked and talked. One night, he gave me a koan. I've been thoroughly grounded in Western philosophy, but I'd never even heard of what a koan was, K-O-A-N. But I didn't stop him. I let him tell the koan. That koan was as important to me as Karl Marx or Hobbes or Plato or Schopenhauer, because all of my life was rooted in the West. I had never had any interest in the thought of the East. So John said to me, once there were two monks, young. They approach a stream that's pouring, overwhelmed by an enormous storm. And a young woman comes up and looks at the stream and is terrified and looks about her. The monks, of course, don't say anything. They look at her. And then one of the monks picks her up and lifts her across the stream and puts her down. And the two monks walk on in silence for an hour. The second monk says to the first was the one who picked her up, "Why did you pick that girl up? You know it's against the rules of our order ever to touch a woman." And the first monk said, "Put her down. I did an hour ago." That koan taught me something about the ellipsis of language and of ideas. It did not turn me into a Buddhist. It did not turn me into one who proclaimed Eastern philosophy. But it opened my mind as much of what John taught me. John taught me the single most important lesson of my life because it has to do with my work, and he was totally unaware of it because I had no idea at that time what my work would be. I'd been a student most of my life, and a hustler, and a drinker, and a chaser after women, and a soldier, but nothing that would indicate that I would be an artist. And John smiled and laughed and said, "Dee, artists make art."